Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Leah and most of my videos are focused on unsolved crimes and mysteries. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. The case I'm going to be talking about today happened in 2019 and I found this case by 100% coincidence. But when I looked into this case, it hit me so hard emotionally that I had to share it with you. I was sitting on my YouTube watching a lot of crime documentaries and I saw this video from a YouTuber called Unusual Things, and for some reason I decided to click on the video. And you see this guy walking around in a cemetery. I felt like it was a bit weird, but I kept watching. He was looking for some guy's resting place, and when he found it, I couldn't believe it was a resting place. It was completely empty. There was no tombstone, there was no marker, there was no candles, there were no decorations, no flowers, no nothing. It looked like an empty lot. But he explained exactly where this person was laid to rest. And he explained that this resting place was completely abandoned. And I felt like that's really horrible. If this resting place is completely abandoned, it feels like nobody cares about you. It's like he never existed. I think it was horrible. And of course this YouTuber explained who this resting place belonged to, and I decided to look into it to find an explanation about why this resting place was abandoned. And when I looked into the story, I am telling you, it was so emotionally. I actually, to be honest, I actually started crying because what this guy went through, I know those feelings so well. This guy's name is Steve Dymond. Steve had a lot of mental health issues. He had a personality disorder. He was extremely insecure. He was always nervous and he was very emotional. It was like he was just walking around in the dark and he wasn't happy at all. Have you ever been in that stage in your life where you feel like no matter where you turn, no matter what you do, you just feel like you're not good enough? And your confidence is like zero and it's like walking around in the dark. And while Steve, he was walking around in the dark, all of a sudden he saw light. He met a woman that he fell head over heels in love with. And she turned his world upside down for the better. And Steve felt like life was worth living again. They were head over heels in love with each other. It was almost like teenage love. And they had a beautiful relationship for a few years, but then something happened. And his girlfriend decided to leave Steve. And he was accused of lying. He was accused of cheating. And Steve, he got so desperate that he wanted to do a lie detector test to prove to his girlfriend that he never cheated. He ended up on a TV show called Jeremy Kyle, where he did a lie detector test and he failed. And everything fell apart for Steve. And 7 days after he was on this show, Steve, he unalived himself. And he left a note that said, "I never, ever cheated on my girlfriend." It was heartbreaking, but I am gonna share every single detail with you. So if you're ready, let's do this. Steve Dymond was a 63-year-old construction worker living in Portsmouth, Hampshire. He was a very, very charming man and he had a fantastic sense of humor. He was well liked by a lot of people, his friends, his family, and his co-workers. He was known to be that guy that would always make you laugh and always make you smile. He was very well liked. Steve, he was very close to his brother named Leslie, and he also had a son named Carl. Carl and Steve, they had a strained relationship, but they still managed to keep in touch. Steve was struggling with mental health and he was prescribed antidepressive medication by his doctor. He had a personality disorder and he also had a depression. He was extremely insecure, nervous, and very, very emotional. And Steve, he actually tried to unalive himself 4 times. He was really struggling. In 2017, Steve he lived by himself in a room that he rented for £100 a month. He was very lonely and he missed having someone to talk to, and he also missed having a woman by his side. So he decided to create a profile on a dating site where he would have conversations with a lot of people. Steve, he really enjoyed all the conversations, the flirting, and all the attention that he got because he was a very charming man. So he would spend a lot of time communicating with all these people. But that was only until he met a 48-year-old woman named Jane Callaghan. They had an immediate connection and sparks were flying everywhere. They fell head over heels in love with each other. It was a perfect match. The first 2 years, everything was going really, really well. They grew closer, they grew stronger, and they had so much fun together. I saw a lot of pictures and text messages between Steve and Jane, and I also saw a video that Steve recorded while Jane was cooking him breakfast. It was really, really sweet.
He's coming, coming, coming home. Tommy's coming home. What are we doing?
Nothing, love. It's a bit warm, that cardigan.
What are you doing, darling?
This is where a woman should be on holiday.
You're recording me?
Yeah,
What, like this?
yeah.
Mess?
Then I'm going to put it on Facebook.
No, you're not.
Oh, yes, I am.
Look at the state of me.
Yeah, I know.
That bacon looks better than me.
Well,
But unfortunately, in February 2019, their relationship started falling apart because Jane found out that Steve had been lying about a lot of things when they first met online. He had lied about his age. He had lied about being in the Navy. He even told her that he had grandchildren, which he didn't. A lot of lies was revealed. Jane was in complete shock. And she started thinking, what else has Steve been lying about? Has he been cheating on me as well? Steve was in full-blown panic mode. And he told her, I might be a liar, and I'm sorry, but I never ever cheated on you. Their relationship ended, but Steve wouldn't give up. Steve was fighting very, very hard to get Jane back. He would call her and text her constantly, apologizing for all the lies. He couldn't explain why he lied, but he knew it was wrong and he apologized over and over and over. He also told Jane that I might be a liar, but I am not a cheat. I never ever cheated on you. In the end of March 2019, Steve told Jane that he wanted to do a lie detector test to prove to her that he never cheated on her. Jane accepted and they started seeing each other again. They wanted to do a private lie detector test, but the waiting was way too long. Jane, she was a huge fan of the Jeremy Kyle show and she was watching it every single day. If you don't know the Jeremy Kyle show, it's a bit like Jerry Springer, and they do lie detector tests on this show. So they decided that they wanted to be on the show so Steve could do the lie detector test because it would be a lot faster. Steve contacted the show between 40 and 50 times. He was so desperate to get Jane back, and he would do anything to prove he never cheated on her. But Steve was rejected by the TV show because he was on antidepressive medication. Steve went into a full-blown panic mode, and he went to the doctor's office where he almost kicked in the door. He threw the antidepressive medication on the table and said, "I'm not eating them. I don't want them. I don't need them anymore. I need you to write me a note and say that I am not on antidepressive medication anymore." I don't know why, but the doctor actually wrote him that note, and Steve brought it back to the TV show, and this time he was accepted. When Steve was told that he had been accepted on the show, he was unstoppable. He was so excited. He was so relieved because finally he could prove to Jane, the love of his life, that he never cheated on her. He could get his girlfriend back, and they could go back to being happy. I found the clip where Steve and Jane are on the show, and I was shocked. I was heartbroken for Steve. When you see his face in this clip, he is so shocked. He is so blown away. He is humiliated. He is being booed at. He's being shouted at. It is absolutely horrific. And in my personal opinion, you can call me naive or whatever you want, but the look on Steve's face and his reaction, I actually believe that, yes, Steve, he was lying a lot. But I really, really don't believe that he cheated on Jane.
Whose idea to come here and do a lie detector?
It was his.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did say to him that I wanted him to have one done, but it was him that phoned up the show. Do you know?
This guy, can I just say, are you together at the moment, you two?
Yes.
Can I just say about this guy, he was on some medication, I believe, it doesn't matter what medication. So keen was he to come and do this lie detector. He went to his doctors and he found out about whether that was okay to do a lie detector. This guy's on after the break. He is absolutely determined to prove to you that this is just... He says, I've probably said a few white lies in the past to impress... Well, don't start on me, I'll say that. But he says he loves you and he's going to pass 100%.
I do. I think he does love me. I do.
Do you think he'll pass, yes or no?
There's something wrong with him.
Do you think he'll pass?
I'm 50-50.
All right, she's 50-50. He's on next, Steve. We're back with him, an all-important lie detector after this break. Coming right back. Don't go anywhere. Why'd you lie so much?
If I knew the answer to that, Jeremy, I wouldn't be here.
What do you mean by that?
I just lied to her for no reason.
Still to this day?
No. Since we split up and got back together, I've never lied once to her.
Why did you in the past? To impress her? What? You tell my team I'm made up about being in the Navy.
Yeah.
And then somehow, I got caught up in my own lies.
I did want to be in the Royal Navy, but I failed because I was colourblind.
Oh.
It was my ambition to be in the Royal Navy, but I only could make it to the RFA, which was the Royal Fleet Auxiliary, not the Royal Navy.
Do you love this woman?
God, to bits. So much.
She said to me, he didn't need to lie, did you?
Yeah,
No.
he didn't. He didn't need to lie.
I
He
didn't.
need to lie at all.
Not at all.
So why are we here? Is this the opportunity to put this right and prove? I mean, I said, I think, before the break, that you take this so seriously you went to your doctors because you were on medication?
Yeah. When the first time we applied for the show, they wouldn't let us on because they said I was on depression tablets. I went to the doctor and said I haven't took any. Took the full box back. Said I don't want them, I haven't touched them. I just want to get my life sorted out with Jane. The doctor wasn't very helpful at all, was he? He didn't help one bit. Gareth was a great support to us over that. I stood outside the doctor's that night and said, I need to see a doctor, I want to see a doctor. I need to get my life sorted out. And when we saw the doctor on Monday, he didn't even know what the hell I was talking about. The reception was completely blind.
you wanted to do this test today, yeah?
I must have rung your show up about 40, 50 times, leaving voice messages to prove it.
No, but the truth of the matter is, you did meet her on a dating website. You did make up a cacophony of lies. I mean,
Yes.
you can sit there looking slightly upset, but, you know, other people looking at this could say it's a bit dodgy.
True, yeah.
You're pretending to go to work and you went to the New Forest.
No, I did go to
Like
work.
donkeys or something, what?
No, I did go to work.
Or why did they ask you how you rated your trip in the New Forest then?
Because where I was working in a power station.
In the New Forest?
No, in just up the road from where we lived, in a place called, what's it called? Warsash.
Is that near the New Forest?
No, New Forest is just across the water where I was working. So what I was doing was at work, and this is the only day I drive machines, and this day I was working near
Are you telling the truth?
100%.
How many people in the audience, without me turning around, think this guy's going to pass the lie detector? They all seem nice. How many women have you met online on that POF thing?
What, before I met Jane?
Yeah.
I think about 3 or 4.
Since the start of your relationship with Jane, have you passionately kissed anyone else? She said no. Why did she say no, Steve?
Because I was telling the
Tess
truth.
says you're a liar, pal. Just so you're aware, you failed every single question.
Oh my God, I was never unfaithful.
I'm going to go and talk to her.
Oh no.
He was gonna
But I wasn't. I've never been unfaithful.
I find it quite interesting. I'm really sorry, you're better than that, by the way. I find it quite interesting that the audience thought you were telling the truth. I wouldn't trust you with a chocolate button, mate. Honestly, you are. I don't think you even know what the truth is.
You've done it. You've done everything. You've done it. Everything.
Jane, I am.
So you go to a fish and you meet her and everything. So that's wrong, is it?
Yes, I swear
So
to
the
God.
serial liar goes into the Jeremy Kyle lie detector and gets called a liar, and my test's wrong, yeah?
I swear to God. I'll swear on anything.
Can you just all calm
I
down a
swear
minute?
to God.
Don't start crying, mate. The hardest thing of my job is I'm paid to read it out. You asked us to do that. Why would you fail? Darling, take a breath. Why would you fail?
I haven't been
Have you
with...
lied about anything in that test? Did you kiss somebody but not have sex with them? Has something happened?
No.
You go into that test and you lie. Even when you split up, come on, I'm doing my best.
I am, and I'm being straight. I'm being so straight. I am being so straight, Jeremy. I've never been more straight than this.
Let me tell you what I know. I don't actually take any pleasure in this at all, contrary to what some people
I
think.
honestly thought I was going to cakewalk it. No, I have not been unfaithful to
Why'd you
her.
fail the test then?
I don't know. I have not been unfaithful to her.
There you are, Jane. I mean,
Once.
I am asked
Not
to do.
once.
I am asked to do, and then we get labelled. Oh, it's unfair. You asked to do a test. He failed that categorically. He failed that, so you're aware. We stand 100% by that. It's very easy for people to sit here and
Yes.
say that, but we stand by that test. There are enough lies. I don't take any. This is awful.
I have not met anyone.
Was there someone he was messaging then?
How? Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
The phone number. I knew it.
So you've been messaging another woman then, yeah?
When
Talking.
the reason being,
Anybody got a shovel? Mate, I'm not interested. I'm only interested in doing what I'm asked to do and looking after this woman. Your conscience will serve you in time. You can jump up and down and you can have a go and you can do all of that. The truth is, you've asked us to do something and you have failed it, absolutely and utterly failed it, and I have to stand by it. And then we sat here 5 minutes later and you're going, oh, I did message another woman. Can I say something to you? You're a nice lady. Listen to me.
Cheers.
Stop that. Be quiet. Stop that noise. Listen to me. You've obviously got a nice family. It's far better for you. You do not need to even cry over this because
I can't. I'm shocked. Yeah. I'm shocked. That's why I can't
you've got to
cry.
sort it out by being honest. You need to look in the mirror, mate. I want to put you two together backstage after this, and I want you to say, no, not you want her back. Be a man, grow a pair of balls, and tell her the goddamn truth. That's what you need. That's what you need to do. I'll tell you what I know. If you tell her the truth, she'll stay with you, well. That's why you're wrong. You don't need to be. The first line out of her mouth when she came to talk to me was, and I quote, didn't need to lie. I'd have taken him.
I'm not going to say I've been unfaithful when I've not.
Something happened, pal.
Do it.
Something happened, absolutely, 100%. Doesn't have to be sexual intercourse. If you lie in that test, you know. I've told you before. I am not going round in circles, right? We will put you. Sorry, nice to meet you. Hey, oi. Think about that when you face it. Give him a round of applause. Think.
After the show, Steve was completely heartbroken. His entire world fell apart. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know where to go. He just knew that this was wrong. It was so wrong. Steve decided to call his son Carl, and he explained to him what had happened. And they went on the Jeremy Kyle show, and he failed the test. Carl said to his dad, "Why would you go on that show? You know what that show is about." And Steve explained that he just wanted to prove to Jane that he never cheated on her. And he kept telling Carl over and over and over, "This is wrong. It's wrong. I never ever cheated on Jane. This is just wrong." Steve also talked to his brother Leslie, and Leslie was very, very worried about Steve because he was so distraught. He just kept saying, "It's wrong. I never cheated on Jane. I don't want to live anymore. Life is not worth living without Jane. I did lie a lot. I really lied a lot, but I never ever cheated on her." He just kept saying that to everyone and everybody that would listen. And he also called Jane about 100 times. He would be texting her and calling her, and she didn't pick up the phone. But he would leave a lot of messages on her answering machine, begging her to believe him. "I'm begging you, I never cheated on you. Please believe me." And it just kept going like that, over and over and day after day. Steve, he was completely broken. Steve's brother Leslie was extremely worried about Steve, and he would be checking up on him all the time. He would keep telling him things are gonna get better. Please calm down. Go home, get some rest, and try to breathe. I promise you, it's gonna get better. Jane finally replied to all of Steve's messages and voicemails, and she told him she didn't believe him. She believed he cheated on her because she was watching the Jeremy Kyle show every single day. And that's exactly why they went on the show, to do that lie detector test. And she believed that test without any doubt. So she fully believed that Steve, he cheated on her, and now he was lying again. It reminded me a bit about that story about Peter and the wolf. Peter was looking after a lot of sheep, and he would be joking all the time, screaming, "Wolf, the wolf is coming, the wolf is coming," and the whole village would run there to save the sheep, but he was just laughing and it was just a joke. One day the wolf actually came, and Peter was shouting, "The wolf is here, the wolf is here, please help me." But by this time, nobody believed Peter, and the wolf unalived all the sheep. And that's exactly the same here. Steve, he was lying and lying and lying and lying. And one day, when he was finally telling the truth, nobody believed him. After trying to convince Jane so many times, Steve, he sent Jane one last message. And it said, "This will be the last time I say it. I was never unfaithful to you in all the time we were together. I hope the Jeremy Kyle show is so happy now as what they have done to me. I did lie about my past, but not about me being a cheat. I never ever cheated on you. They are responsible for what happens now. I hope this makes good ratings for them, but I bet they're gonna keep it quiet. Never did I cheat on you. Never, never. I did try to explain to you, but you wouldn't listen." On May 9th, 2019, Steve Dymond, he unalived himself. He was found deceased inside his room by his landlady, and he had taken an overdose of morphine. It is absolutely heartbreaking. The news of Steve's passing spread like wildfire, and the Jeremy Kyle show was shut down and closed for good. Everybody that heard about Steve Dymond was completely devastated and heartbroken. It was a huge shock to everyone. To begin with, Jane didn't blame the Jeremy Kyle show, and the producers, they would come to Jane's house on a regular basis. Jane wanted to show her support for Jeremy and the Jeremy Kyle show, so she had his signature tattooed on her arm. But a former staff member from the Jeremy Kyle show came out and said that Jane had a really strange relationship with the producers. It was almost like she thought they were her friends. But Jane was in for a huge wake-up call. On March 13th, 2022, a documentary on the Jeremy Kyle show was released. It was called Jeremy Kyle, Death on Daytime. Jane realized that the only reason the producers they kept coming to her house was to prevent her from talking to the media. And she also realized that the lie detector test that was done on the show, it wasn't 100% reliable. It was only between 60 and 90% reliable. So today, Jane, she finally believes Steve and fully believes that he never ever cheated on her. But now it's too late. Jane went to a tattoo shop where she had a cover-up done on the Jeremy signature on her arm. She had some flowers done and a text that said, "Only love can hurt like this." To me, this is a very, very heartbreaking love story. In my opinion, Steve should never ever have been on that show. The producers, they knew he was on antidepressive medication, but they rejected him because he was on medication. So when Steve returned very shortly after with a note from the doctor saying, "Sir, I'm not on antidepressive anymore," does that mean his depression is gone? Does that mean his mental health is so much better now? No, it doesn't. He should have been rejected again. He should never have been on that show. And I saw a lot of people say, yeah, but he went on the show on his own free will. Nobody forced him to be there. That's true. He was desperate to be on the show. But I don't think that Steve, he knew what this show was all about.
I work for a private company called UK Lie Tests. I'm not an ITV employee, I'm a contractor here. So ITV employee, my company, send me along, I'm interested. We just do the lie detector test and give them the results.
Yeah.
So I'm a professionally qualified polygraph examiner. I don't get involved in TV, which is why we're in here. ITV asked us to use this little camera to video the test, not for use in the show. Nothing from that will be given to them so they can put it on the show. It's just to verify that we've treated you fairly.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And that the test has been done correctly. So in case a guest ever said, look, I wasn't treated fairly, they weren't...
Oh, it's on camera.
Yeah, it's just what's been said in this room is on camera.
Yeah.
And it's for that purpose. I've worked on the show for, since 12 years now, and they've never looked at one, but it's there in case a guest ever complains, because they're responsible.
They're 99.9%?
No, that's DNA testing.
Oh.
Polygraphs... about 95%, between 93 and 95%. So it's very accurate, but we're very careful. Part of the reason we have two examiners here is that we double check all the work before it goes out. So this test will be checked by Tristan,
right.
And Tristan, I'll check Tristan as well, and we make sure that we narrow the risk of error to a minimum. We can't guarantee 100% certainty, but we will do everything we can to get to that level.
Yeah.
Relationship tests, what happens, Steve? Sometimes people come in here, and they genuinely come in, they haven't had sex with anybody else other than their partner in a relationship. But they have done other things, maybe kissed somebody, or maybe they've done something to somebody. And they think to themselves, well, I'll fail the kissing question, but I'll pass the other two. And my partner will go mad about the kissing. This is what they think to themselves. But at least I'll pass, and at least it'll prove I haven't had sex.
That's good, because I haven't done any of them.
Well, that's good. But if you have kissed somebody and you fail the whole test as well, it's no good coming back later going, oh, I didn't have sex with anyone, but I did kiss someone, because you have a big problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you understand, you fail one question, you fail
a lot.
I think he knew of the show, but I don't think he knew what was gonna happen on the show. All the booing, the shouting in his face, all those things, the humiliation, everything that was said to him, and Jeremy shouting in his face, and it was horrible, very horrible. And also, like I said earlier, I don't believe Steve cheated on Jane. I really don't, and I told Jane the same. I really don't think he ever cheated on you. And he was excited to go there because he was like, no problem, I'll just do the test and you will know I didn't cheat on you. He was excited. That was the only thing that he was thinking about. He was only focused on that lie detector test. He wasn't thinking about the full audience booing at him. He wasn't thinking about Jeremy Kyle shouting in his face and humiliating him. He was in complete shock, and you can see that by the look on his face. So yes, he did go on his own free will. But there is no chance, I believe, that Steve thought this was gonna happen. Because he didn't cheat. So he wasn't worried about that lie detector test whatsoever. I know that there's people out there that's still angry with Steve because of a lot of things that he did or he lied about or something like that. Especially women that used to know him. If they've been dating him, seeing him, talking to him, flirting with him, I have no idea. But I did see a lot of very nasty comments that was made public on his Facebook for his family and friends to read. And I completely respect your opinion, because if Steve did something wrong or said something wrong, you are completely entitled to be angry with him. But displaying him in that manner in front of his friends and especially his family and his son, I think is disgusting. But I'm not gonna go deeper into that because first of all, they verbally attacked Steve after he passed away. So Steve doesn't have a chance to defend himself or explain anything. It's very easy to attack people when they're not here anymore. And second of all, even though I've been digging and searching, I didn't find one piece of evidence to prove that Steve was being horrible to these people. So that's why I'm not going deeper into that. I'm only gonna focus on Steve and Jane and Steve's family, because that's all that matters right now. I decided to reach out to Jane, and she actually replied. So we were communicating for a few days, and she told me that the resting place, thank God, is not abandoned. Even though it's been almost 6 years, Jane, she still misses Steve every single day. She has pictures of him on her shelf at home, surrounded by candles. She goes to his resting place on a regular basis to put flowers. To me, this is a very, very heartbreaking love story. But that's it for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you think. And until the next one, take care and stay safe. Bye.